Did you know that designing a consistent professional looking website without a framework is almost impossible? This is because you have to make a lot of decisions for your website to look professional. But with a framework, everything is pre-designed for you. I'm a Divi user and it is fantastic, and don't take my word for it. If you take a look at all these reviews, we see that there's 24,000 reviews and pretty much it's 5-star. And also there's close to 1 million users. So definitely people love designing websites with Divi. But are they designing these websites to make them look professional? That's my main question. Now, if you're a designer and you start designing websites, these are the decisions that you need to make that will give you a headache. I mean, if you're trying to set up your fonts, you have to decide whether it's pixels or RAM or percentage or EMs. And when it comes to, okay, let's find out what EM stands for. This is where things will even get more crazy. Now, just take a look at this definition. Now, honestly, does that even make sense to someone who's brand new to web design? I don't think so. So this is where the problem is. It is not easy to go in and know what you need to do at what specific time if you're not someone who is well versed with web design and CSS. So let's take a look and see what happens when we install Divi for the first time, and also what happens when we install SiteKrafter on Divi. So this is the basic website, and over here is where I've installed SiteKrafter. So already you can see there is a slight difference. So now let's go ahead and let's see what happens when you start working on this. So over here, we're going to add a few modules. So I'm going to start off with a row, and in this row, I'm going to add 3 columns. And in this first column, I'm going to add a blurb. I'm going to snap this over to the left so I can see what I'm working on. And then over here, I'm just going to go ahead and save. Here, I'm going to add something else. Perhaps I can add an accordion, and then I'm going to save. And I'm also going to add a button. As a designer now, you're a beginner, you're starting now to decide what size is this font going to be. And this is where things start going crazy, because if I go into my settings here, you're going to go into the design tab, and then you're going to start off with the title text. So you're probably going to say, okay, this is H4. I'm going to start with perhaps maybe 26 pixels. So you are making up these numbers based on what looks great on the screen. And this is how most people design. So on this text here, we can go in here and perhaps maybe you can say, okay, 14 is too small. Let's just go with, say, 16, okay? Or maybe 17. And you're going to be doing this pretty much every single time on every single module. So this, as you can see, is time consuming. So you'd come over here, click on save, move on to the next one, do the same thing. You go into your title here and decide what size you want. Now this time it's H5, so you may say, okay, I'm going to go with 20. And then you're going to go inside here and also customize this text here. This time is down to 14, so you're going to say, okay, maybe let me set this to 16. Same applies with the button. You're going to go in here, start working on the color itself, and the tab to work on that is over here on the design. You'd click on button, you activate use custom styles for button, and again you're going to decide what font size you're going to use. Is it 20? Okay, is it pixels? Is it EMs? Because sometimes EMs could work too. So if we say 2 EM, look at that. So perhaps you could say maybe that's looking way too big. So you're going to go back and say 1 EM. And no. Maybe let's go with 1.5 EM. Now, do you see how many decisions I'm making while I'm working on this basic setup here? It is absolutely crazy. Now, let me show you how this would work if I was using SiteKrafter. Now, over here, I'm just going to go to SiteKrafter. I'm going to do the same thing. Click on this plus button. We're going to go with the 3 columns. And the first thing I'm going to add in here is going to be a blurb, just like what I did before. And boom, just like that, my text is already set up. I don't need to stress about anything. I'm going to close out of here. Next, I'm going to come over here, add my accordion. Again, my text is all set up. I don't need to worry about anything. Next, hit save. And then finally, it's my button. I'm going to go in, search for my button module. It's already set up. So I know what you're probably thinking now. Oh, Mac, you probably went in there and you set up the fonts to be exactly the same size and so on. Well, that's not the case, because what you're seeing right now is fluid typography. Okay, you don't need to go in and set any sizes on your fonts at all. Everything is perfectly set up. Okay, let me do one more thing. So I'm going to come over here and add a few headings. So let's go with our text module here like that. So I'm going to add a few headings. So let's say this is going to be our heading 1. And again, look at that. It's already set up for us. Okay, let me set this to heading 2. I'm going to highlight it. Set this up to heading 2, and again, look at the sizes. Everything is all set up for me. And let's say I add, let's say, a link here, URL. I can just go in here like that, and again, this is set up for me. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and save, and then save one more time. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to exit out of here and then show you how amazing this is. And I want you to notice what happens to our fonts here. So I'm going to drag this like that. Do you see that? Look at our H1. Do you see that? It's getting smaller and smaller, and now it snaps. And again, look at our titles on our blurb and also on our accordion. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So now our font is ready for the smallest screen size that we have, and it's very easy to read. Our titles are not way big, and everything is all in place. Look at that. Here's my H1. Here's my H2, and here's my paragraph text. So this is a much better way of designing, and this will increase consistency. So whenever I need to go in and add a paragraph, this is what I'm going to get. Same sizes across the whole website. Now, you may be thinking, well, maybe I've gone in and I've started, entering my numbers for the different screen sizes. Well, absolutely not. So if I come over here, let me show you what happens. So normally when we design our sites here, we would say, okay, we're going to go in and start working on our breakpoints. So this could be our tablet, and we're going to go in our tablet here and set up our size. Now you can see here, I haven't changed anything. Again, look at that. I haven't changed anything. This is pretty much the same, right? Look at that. So this is 30, 30, 30. So it's like magic. So this is why I'm saying designing a website with a framework is much better. Right. So let's head over here now and let's take a look at this. So we are now back on our normal Divi site, and we want to do the same thing that I did on my example. So we're going to save this and exit out of here. So just like my previous example, I'm going to now make my screen smaller. And let's take a look and see what happens. So do you see what happens now when you add pixels in all your settings? So here in the H1, we had pixels, and look how large it is. H2, it hasn't pretty much changed the size. So this is what happens when we add all our values manually. So in this example, I was using pixels. So you may be thinking, well, what about EM? So as a beginner, you can imagine, how are you going to be making all these decisions when they're all bombarded at you, percentage, pixels, and all of that? So I guess the solution will be, okay, let me go back in here and then start making my sizes based on the screen size. Okay, fantastic. Let's go back in here. So we're going to go to our text, and we're going to start off with a header here. And right now it's on 44. And then we're going to say, okay, on the tablet, how about we make it 36, and here on the phone, we're going to make it 30. Now, do you see how already it's getting messy because I'm deciding on the go? So maybe let's leave it at 36 as well. Okay, pixels, of course. And then we're going to move on to H2. Again, this is on 38. So on the mobile device, perhaps maybe this could be, how about 30? Now, this is the decisions that most people make while they're designing. Okay, here now on the phone, how about we go with 24? Okay, so now that we have this all set, we'll be thinking, okay, it's perfect. But here's the problem. What happens if our size is between these screen sizes here? That means that our font is going to be a specific size until it gets to a specific breakpoint. And this is not good. So you may be thinking, well, maybe this problem is solved when Divi 5 comes out. Well, no, absolutely not. Divi 5 still also comes with a vanilla install, and you as the designer has to go in and decide all your fonts and all your sizes that you're going to add throughout your whole website. So perhaps you could say, okay, I'm going to save all this as a preset. But now the challenge is, as you're designing and you start making a few mistakes here and there and a few tweaks here and there, you need now to come over here to your presets and make sure you update them And sometimes when they update across the whole website, it messes up things. So it's going to be all over the place. And before you know it, now you have fatigue. You're frustrated. It's so stressful that joy of building websites is no longer there. I've been there because there's a reason why I don't design a lot of websites in my spare time. This is the main reason. So as time went on, I thought to myself, surely there should be a better way. So I sat down for a couple of weeks and I came up with a solution. And this was SiteCrafter. This issue I'm raising here is not only unique to Divi. It happens with bricks. This is why you have all these frameworks like automatic CSS and so on to solve this same problem. Again, when you go to Elementor, same thing. We have a problem because when you start designing, you still have to go in and dial in all your sizes and your measurements individually, one at a time. And this can be very time consuming. The next setting, which is very frustrating in web design, is the colors. So thankfully with SiteCrafter, we have what is known as a style guide. Now this style guide guides you through choosing your colors correctly and how to apply them on your website correctly. Now over here, you can see we have a primary or brand color. We have the action color. We have the headings. We also have the text color. This is only set up once and it's consistent throughout the whole website. Now we also have some muted colors, which you can also use on your footers or even sometimes on your website to distinguish all your sections. And these are the colors all laid out for you. And I show you step by step how to set all this up. Now we also have these other colors here. Now these colors here are very, very important because sometimes you may have errors or notifications that you want to show all your visitors on your website. Now these are the colors that you'll use across the whole website. Now, these don't need to change, but of course, if you don't need to use them, that's fine. You can just ignore them. So this is one of those areas that if you don't master it, you're going to have colors all over the place across your whole website. Now over here, of course, we spoke about the fonts, and as you can see here, this is very, very consistent. And when I do that, you can see it's all resizing accordingly without me going in and adding any sizes. Let's head over now and talk about the presets. So this is really what makes SiteCrafter shine, because when you design a website, you have to go into each and every module and put in specific sizes for specific modules. Now this will take you hours to do. It'll take you hours to do. And sometimes you can be forgetting what size you put in for this item and what size you put in for that item. As a result, your website is not going to be consistent. Now, what if I tell you that SiteCrafter has that all sorted? If you take a look here, all these modules are done for you. You don't even need to go in and add any sizes, any spacing, any line heights. Everything is done for you. Look at that. These are your blogs. And when you go further down here, your tabs. So everything here is all set up correctly. You don't need to go in and fix anything. Look at that. Okay. Now there's also something I haven't mentioned, and that is your sections. These sections here also have padding, and this padding is fluid, and you don't have to go in and add any sizes in there because it's confusing to add pixels, or do you add percentages, or do you add rems or EMs? All this is also done for you. Now let's take a look and see if this will actually reduce in size and look great on all devices. So I'm just going to snap it over here to the smallest size. Now just take a look at that. Now all the way from the top, we have our headings here, our paragraph text. We have all our text here on our modules, and the size is beautiful across. Look at that. It's a testimonial. Now you may be wondering, why did I use, basic colors here? This is left out for you to go and fill in with your colors that you prefer to use for your design. So look at this. All your tabs here, they're easy to read because everything here just fits and the size is just correct. Look at that. Even this call to action here is fantastic. Now look at this spacing here that we have between sections. Between rows. Fantastic. Look at that. So all in all, if you use SiteCrafter, you are going to save so much time. In fact, this is so easy to use that it's almost magical. So remember, I mentioned that all our modules work really well on all devices. Now, if you were to do the same over here in Divi, and this is the basic install. So let's say you want to add an accordion here. Can you see how small that is? You would need to go in, make all your adjustments here Perhaps maybe you want to set this to 16 pixels, right? And you want to set up this to make it bold. So these are all the decisions that you need to make for each and every module. So let's say this time around, you want to add a call to action. Same thing. You have to go through the same process. You want to go in here, set your font size, maybe it's 16, but for the heading here, perhaps you want to make it slightly bigger. So we're going to go with, let's say 32. We're going to make it bold. So you're going to come over here, make it bold. Now, do you see how many clicks I'm going through just to create something so basic? Again, let's say I want to add my link here in my button URL is going to be, okay, let's add a blank one. Now we have to go in and stylize the button itself. So we're going to activate, use custom styles for button. And we have to work out, okay, is this text going to work on a small screen? How does it look on a bigger screen? So all these things, as you're designing your website, can be very frustrating. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes you may say, okay, I have designed this blurb and it is fantastic. It's going to be here. And it turns out that maybe on a services page, you want another blurb that looks like this. So on that one, you would have to design it from scratch, because every time you add a blurb here, it's going to come with its own sizes. As you can see straight away, this size here is different to this size. So you could say, okay, I am going to do my presets. Well, fair enough. You could come over here, head over to your presets here and say, okay, create new preset from current style. And then you're going to name this blurb style 1 like that. Okay. And save. Now over here, let's say you want to use the same style. You could come over here, delete that, add another one, add your blurb. And then you would come over here to the top and then choose blurb style 1. And this will have your same settings as that one. But as time goes on, if you want to make any changes to this, you would need to go in and make changes to your body text. But the biggest problem that you're going to have is it is not fluid. So you still have to go in and test the different screen sizes and add all your sizes accordingly. And this is very time consuming. So all these problems are eliminated by using SiteKrafter. So to get started with SiteKrafter, you have to make sure that you're installing SiteKrafter on a brand new Divi 4 install. Otherwise, this process won't work. So I've already gone ahead and installed Divi. As you can see here, this is running Divi 4. Now the next step is to install SiteKrafter. Now it comes in as a plugin, so I've already gone ahead and downloaded it. So in your case, once you've purchased it, or if you're a lifetime member, once you've downloaded the package, which is SiteKrafter, it looks like this. It says open SiteKrafter.zip. You want to make sure you double click on that. Now once you double click, you're going to see a new folder called Open SiteKrafter. Now we need to double click into that, and now we have these two files. Now it's important that you install this in the right order. If you don't do that, then you're going to have errors. Okay, so now let's go ahead and install SiteKrafter, the zipped file. Okay, so to do that, you want to come over here now to plugins and then click on add new plugin. Next, you want to click on upload, and then remember we have this file here that's open. Okay, make sure it's the one.zip. Okay, next we're going to just drag and drop it here, just like that. And then we're going to click install now. Or if you want, you can navigate to this file manually. I mean, that will work fine as well. And then the next step is to activate the plugin. Now that it's activated, it doesn't mean that it's already installed. We need now to come over here to the bottom left where we can see this SiteKrafter version 1.1. So you want to click on that once, and now you can see it's giving us this welcome SiteKrafter and so on. So we want to scroll all the way down. The first place we need to take a look at is over here. So as you can see, there's a check mark on Divi. It's very important because if you have a cross here, it means that this installation won't work. So you need to make sure that you have Divi installed. And here you can see the current version is Divi 4.2.7. Next, we're going to click on Begin Site Import. Now, this shouldn't take long because the plugin doesn't have so many files. Okay, so it looks like everything has been installed now. That's great. So I'm just going to scroll down just to make sure that we don't have any errors. And this is looking great so far. Okay, so with this now, the next step is to go ahead and delete the plugin. So we're going to come over here to plugins. And then we're going to go to installed plugins, and you can see it here. We're going to deactivate and delete it. Click OK. Fantastic. Now let's take a look at our website. So I'm going to come over here and open this in a new tab so we can see what SiteKrafter has done for us. So what it has done is just create a basic homepage for us. So you can see here, you didn't need to go to set up the homepage and so on. It has done that for you. It has a basic menu here on the top and basic footer here, just to give you a very good start. So out of the box, SiteKrafter comes with a completely new design system for Divi. So as you can see, all our modules here are fluid and responsive. As a designer, you don't need to go in and add any sizes to your fonts or to your headings. However, if you want to go in and change all this, it's up to you. You can go in and add your own numbers, but that defeats the whole point of having, a design system that is fluid. Secondly, we also have a style guide here. Now, this style guide makes sure that all your branding, all your colors are all consistent throughout the whole website. And I am going to put together a whole course on how to design websites the proper way using a design system like SiteKrafter. Now, as a small business owner, freelancer, or even design agency, this is the best way to have a design system in your agency or in your company that ensures that your website is going to be consistent across board. Even if you hand over this to some of your team members, you're working with a design system which will produce results which are the same each and every time. So now the question is, can we change these colors? Absolutely. I show you how to change these colors easily. Can we change the headings? Can we change the font type? Absolutely. But the most important thing here is when you change your font type, it doesn't necessarily mess up all your sizing. Now imagine how much time you're going to save with this design system. And when it comes to designing websites, time is money. Why spend a week designing a website if you can spend 2 days designing the same website? And SiteKrafter solves that problem. So at this point, you're probably thinking, well, Mac, how much is this going to cost? I have two options here. So there's $147 per year. This comes in as a WordPress plugin. You also get access to a community of people that are designing websites using SiteKrafter, and I'm going to be consistently responding to questions in that community. You also have a ticketing system, so if you have any issues, you can send me a ticket and I'll do my best to respond to that in a timely manner. You can install this on unlimited websites and you get updates for a complete year, and this also comes with a web design course. Now, the other option is a lifetime pay once option. So for $397, you get the WordPress plugin, you get community access, you have a ticketing support system, you have unlimited websites, unlimited updates, a web design course, and also you get access to Divi University worth $597. So all the starter sites that I'll be designing from this point onwards are going to have SiteKrafter as the base framework, which makes it easier for you to go in and customize these websites. And of course, they're all going to be consistent. So you get access to all of that forever. And all these updates here on this lifetime, they are free updates forever. And as I mentioned with Divi University as well, whatever you're going to get in there, you never pay. All the upcoming courses, anything to do with Divi 5 coming up, you don't have to pay anything. You just pay once and that's it. So for this offer, I'm doing a 50% off, and you can use coupon code CRAFTER50, and this will give you 50% off of $147 and $397. Now, I'm only running this for a few days and on Black Friday. And please don't delay, because when Black Friday comes and you probably think that this is going to be even more than 50% off, well, I'll tell you straight away right now that on Black Friday, it is going to be 30% off. So this is an initial offer. My focus now is going to be on SiteKrafter, making sure that this plugin is consistent and it is full of amazing features. I'm also going to have a section on my website where you can suggest some features and also report some bugs. So this is going to be well maintained, and this is going to be my new baby from this moment onwards. Okay, so what does this mean for lifetime members? So if you are a lifetime member on Funnels to Income or Divi University, you get SiteKrafter absolutely free forever. There is no subscription. You will just get this absolutely free because you signed up for the lifetime membership beforehand. Now, if you want to purchase SiteCrafter today, here's the thing. Today and until about 4 more days or 5 more days is going to be the best price, because I'm giving away 50% off. If you purchase this on Black Friday, it will be 30% off, and then pretty much the original price is going to be on from there on onwards. So this is actually the best time to purchase SiteCrafter. Now, what does this mean for the future? If you purchase SiteCrafter today, that means that if you go for the lifetime membership, you're going to get all the support features. And also, once this is now moved on to Divi 5, you will be also getting all those features. So as Divi 5 is adding more features, I will also be improving SiteCrafter. So you get all of that absolutely free if you get the lifetime membership of SiteCrafter. But if you get the subscription, you only get the updates as long as you have an active subscription. If you cancel your subscription at some point, pretty much you will not be getting your updates. But you can use this on unlimited websites, and pretty much you can do whatever you want to do. This is going to make it easier for you to design websites, as I've shown. And in my opinion, this now has brought even joy to myself of building websites, because it's now easy to manage and easy to work with. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments box below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.